I'm Bob Fitzgerald for Warriors.com. A chance to sit down with Warriors Assistant General Manager Bob Myers, and our first chance to talk to you. So let's get the Bob Myers resume out of the way. Monte Vista High School here in the Bay Area?
Yes. Yeah. Grew up local. My wife, Monte Vista as well. So
okay.
A lot of years spent in the Bay Area, and then after that it was Los Angeles for about 18 years.
Well, getting recruited to go to one of the most storied basketball schools ever in UCLA. Good player, bad player, fit player? I mean, give people the real basketball scoop.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. I started out pretty bad. I improved well enough where by the time I was a senior and junior, I started playing minutes that mattered.
Okay.
But I was certainly my first 2 years, if we were up 30, I was in.
All right.
If we were down 30, I was in. Thankfully, we were more up 30 than down 30, but I was that guy. So I went and talked to my head coach, which was Jim Herrick, and I said to him, Coach, I remember walking into his office, I said, Coach, I don't know what I want to do, like a lot of juniors in college or seniors. And I said, I'd like to work in sports. I don't know what I'd like to do in sports. And he said, I'd like you to go meet a guy. His name's Arn Tellem. And I said, who's Arn Tellem and what does he do? He said, well, he's an agent. And as you know, and most of society knows, there's a negative connotation, which is, I think, sometimes deserved, sometimes not, around sports agent, around that term. So I went and met with him, and I had 2 internship offers. I had an offer to go work at Bear Stearns.
Okay.
And I had an offer to go work with Arn Tellem. I went and sat with Arn, and for those of the people that know Arn, he's a very kind of low-key, humble guy in certain environments. When he has to be tough, he's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But when I had a chance to sit down and talk to him, I had a completely different idea of what a sports agent does, what the role of a sports agent is, and immediately got very excited. One of the first days in the office, Kobe Bryant came in the office, and it was funny. He was wearing a Joe Montana jersey. I'll never forget it. And it was a very gregarious, bushy-tailed, bright-eyed kid who hadn't played an NBA game yet. And I don't know why I remember that, but probably because it was one of my first days in the office. But I started there. I thought that was the best move for me. It was probably the least stable move, go into finance, which was my major in college, or go work as an intern making a couple grand a month with no insurance for a sports agent. But the sports agent thing was exciting. That should I have chosen the Bear Stearns path, the riskier path was the sports agency, right? Bear Stearns is gone, poof, in the financial disaster. So if I would have followed that path, although at the time it was the safe play, it turns out the sports agency was the safe play.
Big change. You go from the agency side to the franchise side. Now here with the Warriors as the assistant general manager. Was it the right time for you to join a team?
I think it was, and I think the way I viewed it, and certainly a lot of factors played into me making the change, and probably primarily it was Joe and Peter, the owners, Joe Lacob and Peter Gruber. You get a sense on the other side of the business as to what is a good organization. And we always tried to put our players in good organizations. And how do you define that? Usually, if you have good ownership, it trickles down to a good organization. So for me, it was easier maybe than others to be able to see through what type of fit might work for me. And when you meet guys like Peter and Joe, you can tell pretty quickly that they're going to make this a success. And that was very, very appealing to me. When I would sit down with players that I represented in the draft, we'd look at the teams that would potentially draft them, and I'd say, you know what, I don't necessarily want to be with this team. Although they're picking 13, let's try to get to the team picking 15, because it's a better organization. And the organization component of it starts at the very, very top. So for me, Joe and Peter, being from up here, guys like Larry Riley, Travis Schlenk, Kirk, meeting all the people that I had met here, and knowing that there were people I could work with, and work with in a very positive way, all added up to feeling like the right time, the right place, and the right beginning for me in the business, staying in the sports business, but on the other side. If you work in that team environment, everybody feels good. And I think the ones that struggle and the times, it's just like an NBA team. If there's one guy that's demanding the ball every time, shooting 25 shots a game, not sharing the ball, not getting his teammates involved, then inevitably it crumbles. It's bad chemistry. Just like chemistry on the floor, you have to have chemistry in your front office, and I think we have that. And it's about working with people, and as well as Joe as well, a major part of it. So it's about the people you work with, and I do think we have a great group.
Appreciate you spending some time, and we'll have more with Bob Myers and certainly on the draft and everything all summer with the Warriors right here on Warriors.com.